Really wanted to start off with the main question. What role can blockchain technology play in promoting more sustainable and efficient energy use in the Bitcoin network? So really this question can go to anyone. So I don't know if Esther or Bruce, if you want to start.
All right.
I think you start.
Should I start? Should I go for it? Okay. Can you repeat?
Yeah, sure. So what role can blockchain technology play in promoting more sustainable and efficient energy use in the Bitcoin network?
I mean, the biggest thing is we're kind of at the cutting edge of tech in the sense that we are an earlier industry. It's only been, 14 years or so, maybe 15. So we have an opportunity to kind of front face sustainability rather than kind of have it be an afterthought. And we have also the ability to actually buy the infrastructure to do that. So having the responsibility, kind of just pull it off, we can make it better. Anyone else?
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else that want to kind of take the lead in that or to kind of branch off a little bit?
Yeah, I will. I'm going to try this mic, see if it's better. Yeah, it is better. Okay. So I think that, the role that blockchain has in energy stability, in green energy, and in pushing this forward is massive, guys. I mean, we have something that produces money, right? We can, we have our own economy. And right now we have to trade it in for fiat a lot of the times, right? But we'll get to the point where we don't have to trade it into fiat. And, I was on stage here with Robin and Fernando a year or two ago talking about the monetary revolution. And that is still going on very strong. And that's where we're at. And you see, the governments of the world really going after different people. I just saw on Twitter that now we're suing CZ and Binance for God only knows what. I'm sure that's going to continue on for as long as they possibly can, because what we have is a change. We have a revolution where, the fiat monetary system is failing, and they're going to keep propping it up. And, we're in an election cycle already now, so I don't expect the price to go down. I think it's going to keep going up, as well as the housing market and everything else. But the role that Bitcoin has, in this space, in energy and grid stability, in making things green and doing things better is so important, because we're the future. And, I'm like kind of one of the older guys, I would say, in the space, maybe, compared to a lot of the people I run around the world with. So it's important, though, that we're the ones pushing forward the technology. We're the ones, producing crap to mine Bitcoin, right? Or whatever it is. We're the ones that are doing it. And so it's really important for us to understand, one, that what we need to do it better. And then two, staying true to our principles and with our own economy and with our own currency and with the Bitcoins to make it happen.
Thank you. And then what are you guys doing individually to make that impact, to make that change?
Yeah, I mean, I think another aspect that hasn't been mentioned yet is, transparency. And that's exactly what, the digital asset space is trying to do to the general public. But, the two industries that we're in, I mean, having, the sustainability industry from my side of the equation, then having the digital asset space, to us, it's very transparent. We understand it. To the general public, they have no clue what's going on. So how do you introduce a bit more transparency and efficiency within both spaces? That's through, blockchain technology. And then everyone's asking, I mean, 90% of the people I've spoken to today really don't know a lot about, carbon credits and about renewable energy credits and the exact process, the life cycle of taking credit from production into redemption. If you can put those on chain and then make them more accessible, more easily understood, and widely accessible for the general public to use within any kind of operation they have. I mean, whether it's through mining, data center energy consumption, or just part of whatever kind of business you run, everyone knows blockchain. Everyone knows the technology, but how to use it and implement it and then put in carbon credits, renewable energy credits, biogas, RINs, whatever it might be. If you can put all these on chain, then they're more widely acceptable and people can see them on a day-to-day basis.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next question. It's a little bit of a deep one. How can we encourage greater collaboration and knowledge sharing between different stakeholders in the energy and blockchain sectors?
I mean, I think the biggest one is just connecting with the people. The main issues I see between stakeholders not talking is they just don't know of each other. And getting to know people, that's kind of step one, and figuring out who you want to partner with and who you kind of like, okay, maybe down the line. But those kind of partnerships, they're built over time. And I think that's an important part that is going to happen. It's starting to happen. But yeah, it's all about the people in the end. That's what Bitcoin was kind of for.
And I feel like it's definitely a very common thing to say, you know, how do we solve this problem? It's through better communication. It's through more collaboration. But action has failed to be mentioned during these equations. But yes, of course, you need to start with more communication so you can then take action. But with action, there are a lot of these coalitions that have been brought up, and having a lot of these minds and these powerful companies or individuals within the respective industries that can come together. And there are a lot of them around Bitcoin, around blockchain, around just sustainability and interlinking the two markets. And the Sustainable Bitcoin Protocol, for example, has 200 plus members that are within that coalition that are all committing to sustainability and wanting to move forward. But that's where you get the thinkers in the room, and what is great about this conference as well. They are able to have people here, but it's bringing the right people together that can then have those conversations, but then making sure action's taken after those conversations happen.
Do you want to continue with this?
I think we're good. Yeah, I don't know which one's doing the feedback.
Okay.
Yes.
I believe that this is something that I personally believe, that a green Bitcoin eventually is going to be more valuable than a non-green Bitcoin. Eventually, society will realize that the way to go about mining is with renewable energy. This is what I'm saying. It's something I believe personally, but eventually there will be a way to do it. And eventually people will realize that the way to go about mining is with sustainable energy. So what I do believe is that eventually this is a trend that people will want to walk. And we were saying in the panel before that perhaps it's more expensive to mine with green energy. Yes, it is more expensive, but it's more expensive now. Eventually, there will be new technologies that can change that. For example, biogas, I talk about that, but biogas, we can mine with free electricity, practically. We only have, once we set up the infrastructure, then we operate the cattle manure or whatever toxic waste we are using, and we only have operational costs, which is just 1 or 2 operators that work at the plant. So eventually, I believe people eventually will realize that there are ways of getting green electricity cheaper, or that it's better for the environment.
So I think, I would echo what Victor said. A lot of it is about meeting each other. That's a big part of it. Another big part of it, obviously, is money, right? So, if you're a manufacturer and you want to get your products out there, you have a manufacturer's representative, hopefully, and those people will go out and, pitch your products and everything else. And so I think this sector, we already see it developing at conferences like this, Mining Disrupt, other different conferences. But the putting together, the marrying of the different sectors, of the energy company with the miners, with the providers, with the green. We interviewed quite a few interesting people already this morning, and it is amazing to see what the variety of different ways that people are already implementing ways to work together. And I mean, the carbon credits, I know we already mentioned them once. It's kind of been a funny thing. David and I, my brother, were up at New York Climate Week this year, or last year, I guess. And it was really kind of funny because no one really knew how to sell the credits, right? It was like, all right, you can get the credits, and here you can buy the credits, right? But I mean, no one really. Where do you sell the credits? But that's a whole new sector that's growing there. And you saw just now with the ordinals, which I thought was a very interesting project, putting the ordinals on there, and then they're going to be trading these carbon credits. I don't know if carbon credits are going to last. I mean, I would say that, they kind of could be rugged at any time, I feel like. Maybe they won't be. But that is just an example of how it works. And it's just like anything in life, right? Getting everybody together and talk, and meet other people.
Awesome, thank you. I'm feeling really inspired, and I wanted to know, being at this conference, really networking, what is the main goal for each of you guys, women, at this conference? What's the main goal? Are you looking for partnerships, VCs? Who are you trying to connect?
Should I start? I'll take it. For me, mostly just partnerships. It's kind of like what we were talking about before, where sometimes it's hard to have all the pieces of the puzzle. And I've encountered that in my, I'd much rather meet people in person, but also there are certain aspects and certain lessons that they've learned that I can now learn from and not make the same mistakes. And that stuff, you don't get into those conversations often on messages or Zoom even. Sometimes it's hard to be like, oh, that's what you've been dealing with? I'm going to deal with that in 3 months. It's really nice to hear from that. So those are my 2 cents.
Awesome, thank you.
I mean, for us, it's education to, be able to, answer the questions you even just had. Will carbon credits last? How do you even acquire them? How are they even made? And there's so much skepticism around it, but, provide transparency. That's what we do want to do, but also how we can apply it into, one, for solutions for the environment, to have more investment into, a greener grid or a less carbon intensive future, as we do have a clock that we're all running out. And it doesn't matter whatever we're doing. If that runs out, we're all dead. Sorry. But basically, in addition to that, it's showing the opportunity that you can have. This isn't just a cost to you. There's a lot of arbitrage. There's a lot of assets within our space that you can actually use to make your business more efficient and then actually generate profit off of. So it's not just sitting here saying, pay me, it's a cost, then you'll be green, here's your tag. It's about impact. It's about having more of a more sustainable future so that your businesses can last longer, but also how do you arbitrage that and how do you hedge that risk and also make profit along the way using another product. But I think that our two industries are two of the highest growth industries out there, and two of the most widely spoken about industries, and two of the most industries that the general public knows nothing about. So we need to make sure that we are putting in the education, putting in the time, and collaborating together, that we can then actually do some good and make some money along the way.
On my case, we are a pretty new company. We're doing something that no one's doing really. I haven't met any other person that is mining with biogas. So we believe it's a great way of producing green energy, and it's a great way of mining. It really solves a problem, because if you have a ranch in the country away from the line, the grid, away from the grid, and what do you do with all the waste? Well, why don't you create electricity? Because there's no incentive. Bitcoin actually gives it an incentive. So turns something which is useless, which is it's garbage, it's waste, turns it into something profitable. So I really believe this idea of the biogas, it's going to, especially in countries where you have lots of cattle, lots of farms, in those countries, this way that will give an incentive to the farmers to use that waste and turn it into bitcoins.
Amazing. So the biggest reason I'm here is to save whales. Yeah. So we are saving whales around the world. It's true in both of the senses. Okay. One of the things that when we come to a conference, and I say we again, my brother David Porter and Robin Mathis, right here, my colleague. When we come to a conference, we always look to give back, and it needs to go both ways, right? And in all of our business deals, it's the same way. You have to take and give. If you don't give and take, then what is the partnership, right? And what are you doing? And so when we come in, of course, we set up our deal, we interview people. Our YouTube channel has over 1.5 million followers. My Twitter is pretty good as well. Which we interview people, we bring value to the conference. So that's one thing, but then we also extract value the same way, right? We meet all of you guys and we get to know what you're doing. And then we get to talk as well about what we're doing. And one of those is saving whales. We have a campaign right now where we're putting 10% of the profits to save the whales, actual whales, and then of course we're also saving crypto whales, right? So it's kind of a funny play with our old token, with our old coin, which is still trading as BSTY. We're doing a 1 to 1,000 swap, and I may be one of the only guys on stage that's talking about something like this, right? Because it's Bitcoin energy, but we're proof of stake and proof of work because of course we're Americans, so we have to play the game, right? We have to be proof of work. But it's important for us to come here and to meet all of you guys and talk to you about it because it's a pretty special thing that we're doing. I don't know anybody else who has done anything like this. It's a 1 to 1,000 swap onto Impact Protocol. You can look at the website, impactprotocol.network. My brother David will be on stage here this afternoon as well. But we're putting whales in position to do some really special things. And since it's like Polkadot, we'll have 100 different parachains, and it's Impact Protocol, so it's making an impact. So impactful projects that make an impact is what we're interested in. So that's what we're here for.
Thank you. And then we're closing off a little bit in 2 minutes. So I actually wanted to go to each person and where can we find you? How do we support you? And yeah, let's just start with that. I'm actually going to start with Jim.
Okay, we got a web page. It's biocryptofarm.com, and basically, we got many projects that are happening, but we also want to export the model, not just to do them ourselves, but help other people to do it. So, if any of you guys want to learn how to do biogas, how to make we call it a bio crypto farm. Feel free to come and talk to me. I can give you a hand to make it happen. I really believe that this is a green revolution. Eventually, it's happening. It's actually happening. So just feel free to come and talk to me.
Thank you.
Closing thoughts?
You could, Bruce.
Awesome. Well, big thank you to Fernando and Robin for putting this together. Let's give them a hand. A lot of OGs here, a lot of big guys in the space. Really appreciate the opportunity to talk to everybody. I think that this year is going to be an interesting year. One, as far as regulations are concerned, they're going to continue to try to tear things down. You're going to want to hodl your Bitcoins or whatever coins you're doing and take your positions and hold on for the ride. The world is changing. The entire rest of the world is trying to crash the dollar. And I think that they'll probably be successful. We've been, doing our thing with the dollar for a long time, and that is what it is. So make your choices. I think again, where the election cycle has started, so they're not going to let anything crash. The markets aren't going to crash. Real estate's not going to crash. So as high as it all seems, I think we pretty much go up from here.
And to continue with the question, yeah, you can find us, at stxgroup.com. I mean, we're on LinkedIn. We're on, anywhere else you want to find us, and speak to Kevin in the green polo there. We stole him from the digital asset space, and he's been, very, very helpful with our organization breaking the wall into this one. But also look out for us during Earth Week. We're launching a new climate action arm of our firm that we've been working on very hard through the acquisition of another company as well. So we are going to have a bit more impact, a bit more wider outreach, and happy to cross into every single industry, every single vertical that needs sustainable solutions. But this is one of them that has very high energy consumption. So we're happy to do any solutions that we can. And if you need any scope 1 through 3 calculations and you have no idea where to start, we can do that entire process for you and supply you any credits that you need to reach those sustainability goals.
Awesome.
And I did forget. So it's at Networks Manager on Twitter. Very easy to find me there. Website impactprotocol.network, and we are looking for impactful projects. The booth is right down there by the VIP.
All right, and we got Esther.
Yeah, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn or just talk to me in person. I'm in hosting and on-grid mining, so anybody have any questions? I'm pretty approachable. Come say hi.
All right. Thank you so much for each of you for coming and for, stirring an amazing conversation.